You've been watering the seed every affirmation, every journal page, every meditation, but nothing's blooming. And maybe you're starting to wonder, is it the seed or the soil that's holding you back? You visualize, you script, you trust the universe. But each morning still greets you with the same patterns, same doubts, same ache behind the smile, and that same quiet question, why does nothing truly change? Here's the truth most people don't know. Neuroscientists at Stanford and the HeartMath Institute discovered something stunning. Your heart and nervous system emit an electromagnetic field powerful enough to override your conscious thoughts. So even if your mind says, abundance, your body might still be broadcasting lack. You're not broken. You're not doing it wrong. You're just broadcasting a frequency you didn't know was still running the show. But stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover how to shift your signal not temporarily, but permanently. And that changes everything. Imagine shouting a new command into the universe, but your body is still whispering the old story underneath. That's not a failure of your willpower. It's a mismatch of frequency. And the quantum field, this intelligent, energetic matrix that holds all possibilities, doesn't respond to your effort, your goals, or even your most poetic affirmations. It responds to what you broadcast consistently, unconsciously, in your everyday emotional state. Even when you're not manifesting, you're still sending out a signal. And that signal, your baseline vibration, is what the universe listens to. According to the HeartMath Institute, the heart emits an electromagnetic field that's 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. This field can be measured several feet beyond your body, and it's directly influenced by your emotions. That means your internal state is not private tates pulsing into the space around you, shaping how life reflects back to you. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in epigenetics, goes further. He explains that your cells don't respond primarily to chemicals, but to vibrational energy. In his words, the moment you change your energy, you change your biology. So if you're radiating stress while repeating, I am safe, your field still says, I'm in danger. If you're affirming abundance while feeling tightness in your chest every time you open your bank app, your signal still says, scarcity. Have you felt that dissonance before? Like you're doing all the right things, but deep down, something still feels off? That's not failure. That's feedback. The quantum field is not punishing you. It's mirroring you. Not your thoughts, but your felt vibration. And the tricky part? That vibration is often invisible to your conscious mind, just like a scent you stop noticing after a while. So the question isn't just, what am I thinking? It's, what is my body feeling when I'm not paying attention? Are you carrying a subtle hum of anxiety beneath your smile? A quiet ache of unworthiness behind your goals? If so, you're not alone. This is the real work. To shift not just your mindset, but your frequency. To align your nervous system, your breath, your inner chemistry with the version of you who already lives the life you're calling in. It's not about pretending. It's about becoming. And when that alignment clicks, the outer world has no choice but to catch up. So let me ask, what frequency are you living in when no one is watching? What silent story are you broadcasting today? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your reflections. And if this message resonates, give it a like and hit subscribe. Because in the next section, we'll explore the vibrational loop, why so many people get stuck in emotional deja vu, and how to break free from cycles that no longer serve you. Stay with me. The shift is already beginning. Have you ever felt like life keeps handing you the same story, different characters, different settings, but the same emotional ending? Like no matter how hard you try to level up, something invisible keeps pulling you back. That isn't bad luck. It's not even self-sabotage. It's a vibrational loop. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't manifest from your conscious thoughts. You manifest from your subconscious frequency, the emotional state your body has memorized and repeats automatically. And that frequency follows a predictable cycle. Emotion, behavior, result, identity reinforcement, emotion, again. It looks something like this. I feel unworthy. I hesitate when opportunity comes. I miss the moment. I tell myself, see, I'm not enough. I feel unworthy again. And just like that, the loop begins again. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's neuroscience. According to research from Harvard University and Dr. Joe Dispenza, up to 95% of our behavior is unconscious and habitual. That means the way you wake up, respond to stress, talk to yourself, and interact with others is largely driven by old emotional patterns, not present moment choices. Your brain builds what we call a vibrational blueprint, a set of well-worn neural and energetic pathways that tell your body, this is who I am, this is what I expect, this is what's safe. So even if your conscious mind says, I want love, if your vibrational blueprint is rooted in abandonment or fear, you'll unconsciously push love away. Even if you journal about wealth every day, if your nervous system associates money with stress or guilt, you'll find subtle ways to block it. It's not that you're lazy or broken, it's that your system is loyal to what's familiar. Because familiar, even if painful, feels safe. And safety is the nervous system's #1 priority. Think about it. Have you ever gotten close to a breakthrough financially, emotionally, or spiritually, and then suddenly felt anxious, tired, or even sabotaged yourself? That's not weakness. That's your body trying to return to its known frequency, its emotional home. So how do we break the loop? First, we bring it into awareness. We stop asking, why am I stuck? And start asking, what emotional frequency am I looping? Where in your life are you playing small because you already believe the outcome won't change? Where are you reacting not from now, but from a version of you formed years ago? The truth is, you're not stuck because your techniques are wrong. You're stuck because you're still operating from the old identity. And until the frequency changes, the reality can't. So pause and feel into this. What is the loop you keep living quietly, daily, emotionally? Can you see the pattern now? Let me know in the comments. Your awareness could help someone else see theirs. Because in the next part, we're going deeper. You'll see that you don't need to try harder. You simply need to become a new sing-alone that speaks a different truth to the quantum field. So stay with me. You're not just breaking a loop. You're becoming someone new. You can't plant a new garden in the soil of an old season. No matter how vibrant your seeds, if the earth remembers winter, nothing will bloom. And that's exactly what happens when you try to manifest from the frequency of your past self. You may be affirming, visualizing, scripting your future, but if your nervous system still flinches at the same triggers, if your breath still shortens in the face of receiving, if your reactions still come from an identity rooted in fear, then the field around you picks up that signal, not the one you wrote in your journal. Because here's the truth. You don't manifest what you say. You manifest what you broadcast when you're not looking. The quantum field is not fooled by words. It's moved by coherence. And coherence means your thoughts, emotions, and body are aligned, vibrating in harmony with the reality you're asking for. But most people are still vibrating as the old version of themselves, out of habit, not intention. They repeat the affirmations of worthwhile, still bracing for rejection. They declare abundance while shrinking from every financial decision. They speak of love while feeling unsafe in intimacy. And so the field responds not with punishment, but with precision. You're still radiating the old code, so you keep receiving the old result. Here's a gentle but powerful exercise. Write down the answer to this question honestly. When I'm not manifesting, when I'm simply living, what do I feel about money? About love? About my body? About who I am? That's your identity signature. It's the energetic fingerprint you're leaving on the field, day after day. And unless it shifts, your outer reality won't either. Neuroscience supports this deeply. Studies from UCLA show that over 90% of the thoughts you think today are the same as yesterday. Your brain is wired for efficiency. It repeats. And what it repeats, it reinforces. So if your body has been rehearsing fear, guilt, lack, it will continue broadcasting those signals unless you intervene. Think about it like this. You can't expect a new outcome from the same emotional software. You're not failing because you don't know how to manifest. You're looping because your being is still loyal to a version of you that no longer fits. So what do? We start observing with compassion. We become intimate with our automatic reactions. We slow down enough to notice, this fear isn't me now. It's a memory firing. And from there, we begin to choose again. Because you're not stuck. You're remembering who you've been for too long. And the moment you stop identifying with that past self, when your frequency no longer feeds it, your future can finally arrive. What comes up for you when you reflect on this? Can you sense where your reactions are still rooted in the old you? Let me know in the comments. I truly want to hear your insights. And in the next part, we'll explore the law of repetition and how the quantum field doesn't reflect your peak moments, but your most repeated ones, like a mirror that doesn't lie, just echoes. So stay close. This is where the shift becomes real. They say the universe rewards effort, but in the quantum field, that's not entirely true. Because the field doesn't reward effort. It reflects repetition. Not what you do once with passion, but what you believe every day without realizing. Imagine the quantum field as a mirror, not one that shows your face, but one that reflects your most repeated emotion, your most practiced belief, your most consistent signal. Not the version of you who shows up during your best meditation, but the version who speaks quietly when you're tired, stressed, doubting, alone. This is the law of repetition. And it's why people who journal affirmations, build vision boards, recite mantras still don't manifest the life they dream of. Because it's not your vision board that manifests. It's your nervous system. If the root frequency you carry is still "I am not enough," then even the most beautiful dream will meet resistance in the field. Take Sarah, for example. She spent weeks designing the perfect vision board: travel, abundance, love. She visualized it every morning. But when a job offer came, she hesitated. When someone showed her love, she pulled away. Because deep down, her inner signal still whispered, "I don't deserve this." The result? The field simply mirrored that internal truth. Not her effort, not her desire, but her emotional default. And this isn't magic. It's biology. Your brain contains something called mirror neurons designed to reflect what's repeated and familiar. These neurons not only help us empathize with others, they also teach us to mirror our own internal states. So if you repeatedly feel shame, your body builds a home there. If you consistently believe you're lacking, you unconsciously train your nervous system to resist abundance even as you chase it. It's like looking in a mirror and hoping to see confidence while frowning inside. The reflection can't lie, because the quantum field, like a mirror, doesn't reflect your wish. It reflects your wiring. And here's where the power comes in. The field is neutral. It doesn't judge. It just responds. So if you want a new reflection, you don't have to push harder. You just have to retrain what you repeat. You need to build a new emotional rhythm that matches the life you're calling in. Start by noticing. What emotion do you return to most often? What thought plays on loop when things go quiet? This is your real signal. Not the loud one in your affirmations, but the quiet one in your habits. What's your take on this? Have you noticed a pattern that keeps looping despite your effort? I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about the pivot point, that strange moment where reality starts to shake, where pain, confusion, or loss show up right before the shift. Most people think they've failed, but in truth, it's the beginning of everything new. Have you ever felt like everything was falling apart right after you finally decided to change your life? Like the moment you committed to healing, growing, or manifesting something new, suddenly, old fears came rushing back, emotions got louder, and life felt messier than ever? That's not a sign you've failed. It's a sign you're shifting. In the quantum world, just before a system moves into a new state, it often enters a phase of chaotic reorganization. In human terms, it feels like confusion, emotional overwhelm, physical discomfort. Your body clings to the familiar. Your nervous system tries to protect you. The old patterns surge on last time like crashing waves before they dissolve. This is what mystics and psychologists call the dark night of the soul. But it's not darkness as punishment. It's darkness as purge. It's the emotional detox that often comes before expansion. Think about it like this. If you've been operating on the vibration of unworthiness for years, and suddenly you start aligning with love, safety, abundance, your body doesn't instantly cheer. It panics because it doesn't know this new feeling yet. And what's unfamiliar often feels unsafe, even if it's exactly what your soul has asked for. Have you felt that before? Moments where you thought, "I'm doing the work," Why do I feel worse? Maybe you tried to change your relationship with money and suddenly felt broke again, or opened your heart to love only to feel lonelier than ever. This paradox isn't failure. It's a sacred realignment. It's your inner world reconfiguring to match a new frequency. And sometimes, that means everything that doesn't resonate must rise to the surface so it can be released. Researchers in neuropsychology call this cognitive dissonance, the tension between old beliefs and new behaviors. But in the quantum field, it's more than thought. It's frequency conflict. Your system is letting go of the past, and in that letting go, things wobble. So if you're in the middle of that space, where everything feels unclear, emotional, maybe even painful, let me tell you this. You are not broken. You are being rewritten. And that means you're close. Closer than you think. When it hurts the most, when your mind says, go back, but your heart says, keep going, that's the edge. That's where the old dies and the new begins. That's when the field quietly, invisibly starts to respond differently. Not because you forced change, but because you became something new. Can you relate to that moment? That quiet chaos before breakthrough? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hold space for where you are now. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll go deeper into the real path to shifting. It's not about affirming harder. It's about embodying a new frequency so completely, the old one has no room to return. And that, my friend, is where lasting transformation begins. What if your breakthrough isn't waiting in the next technique or affirmation, but in a quiet moment where you finally stop chasing the future and start becoming it? This is the real shift. Not louder affirmations, not more vision boards, not trying to hack the universe. It's dropping into the energy of the version of you who already is, already has, already lives it. Most people think manifestation is a doing game, but the quantum field doesn't move because you're trying harder. It moves because you're vibrating differently. And that difference doesn't start with thought. It starts with your nervous system. Let's look at it simply. If you say, I am at peace, but your breath is shallow, your jaw is tense, your stomach is tight, what signal is the field truly receiving? It's receiving the frequency of urgency, lack, survival, not peace. Not because you're wrong, but because your body is still tuned to the past. And this is where everything changes. You don't need to convince the universe. You need to stabilize your inner signal. Try this simple, powerful practice. Every morning before checking your phone, before the world gets loud, close your eyes. Take 3 deep, intentional breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Then ask yourself, if I already had what I'm asking for, how would my body feel right now? Would your shoulders drop? Would your heart soften? Would your thoughts slow? Or your breath deepen? Don't try to think your way there. Let your body remember the feeling. Let the frequency rise, not as a performance but as truth. This isn't pretending. It's choosing. Choosing to make the internal match to the future you've asked for. And here's why it works. The quantum field doesn't recognize time the way your logical mind does. It doesn't ask, is this past, present, or future? It simply mirrors what you are now. So when you feel into your future self, fully and consistently, you collapse time. You call your future into the now. There's neuroscience behind this too. A study published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience revealed that when individuals practiced feeling a new identity consistently, it altered neural circuits and even shifted the regulation of genes connected to immune function and stress. Translation: your biology starts responding to your inner energy long before anything shifts externally. That's not just hope, that's embodiment. And here's a second practice you can use. Every morning, ask yourself, what frequency do I choose to live in today? Not, what do I want? Not, what's missing? But, what do I choose to become right now? Is it joy? Trust? Enoughness? Power? Let that word become your emotional compass. And throughout the day, return to it not by force, but by feeling. And when the old signals rise, because they will meet them with breath, not resistance. Breath, because the moment you stop trying to control the field and instead commit to regulating your frequency, The field begins to shift in your favor. It's not about doing more. It's about becoming so anchored in who you already are on the inside that the outside has no choice but to reflect it. What emotion does that future version of you live in every day? What choices would they make in this moment? What would they no longer tolerate? What would they no longer chase? You're not far from them. They're not a dream. They are you, minus the urgency, minus the doubt, minus the past-based wiring. And here's a beautiful truth. The more often you return to that vibration, not for 5 seconds of effort, but through consistent emotional rehearsal, the more your field begins to echo a new timeline. One where things feel easier. One where people respond to you differently. Where ideas come through, synchronicities appear, and the world finally starts mirroring the work you've been doing in silence. Have you felt moments like that? Even just for a second, where you touched a new frequency and everything felt clear, aligned, grounded? What was that emotion for you? Let me know in the comments. I want to know which future you're already becoming. Because in the next part, we're going to talk about something few people realize. You keep asking the field for proof, but the signs are already here. You're surrounded by echoes of your new timeline. You just haven't been tuned in enough to feel them yet. We'll explore how to see what's already arriving, how to shift from doubt to recognition, and how to open your awareness to the field that's been whispering, "Yes, it's working. Keep going. Stay with me. The world you asked for is not coming. It's already here if you know how to feel it." Have you ever stood in front of a mirror, waiting for your reflection to smile before you do? That's what it's like when you wait for the universe to prove something before you allow yourself to feel it. But the quantum field doesn't respond to need. It responds to state. And when your state is rooted in waiting, in, "I'll believe it when I see it," the field simply reflects that waiting back. This is where many people unknowingly block their manifestations. Not through lack of effort, but through the subtle vibration of doubt. And here's the twist. When you're desperate for signs, you're no longer aligned with what you're calling in. You've shifted into a frequency of separation, a belief quiet but powerful that says, "It's not happening yet." But what if the delay you're feeling is not rejection, but confirmation? What if the space between desire and arrival is actually the universe saying, "Yes, I've received your signal. Keep holding it." This is why building your inner awareness is so important. And one of the most grounding ways to do that is by creating a field journal. Each day, write down 3 signs, no matter how ordinary, that reflect alignment. You might be surprised how quickly you start noticing moments you once dismissed. Like the stranger who looked at you and smiled with warmth, or an unexpected refund, or discount, or cancellation that gave you breathing space, or the way your body felt less tense today, even if nothing outside had changed. These are not accidents. They are resonant echo evidence that your field is shifting. This isn't about fantasy. It's about frequency. In fact, according to a 2021 study published in Nature Neuroscience, your brain's default mode network is constantly scanning for patterns based on internal expectations. That means when you expect alignment, you start perceiving more of it. You're not forcing it into existence. You're tuning into what's already present. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, "Nothing's working," ask instead, "What small signs have I been missing because I was waiting for something big?" Because the field isn't always loud. Sometimes it speaks through soft nudges, gentle realignments, quiet confirmations. And the more you feel grateful for the little things, the more big things begin to unfold naturally, not because you chased them, but because you matched them. Let me ask you this. What if the real proof you're seeking is already around you right now, just waiting for your nervous system to settle enough to feel it? Have you noticed any subtle signs in your own life lately? Moments that felt like a quiet yes from the universe? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to know what resonated for you. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to dissolve one of the most misunderstood beliefs of all. The universe is not punishing you. It's not testing your worth. It's simply responding to the frequency you hold the longest, the one that lingers in your body, even when your mind is elsewhere. Let's explore how to reclaim that vibration and finally step into the field with clarity, ease, and trust. What if the universe was never against you, only echoing you? Not the polished version you show during rituals or meditation, but the repeated vibration that lingers when you're not watching. The subtle emotional climate you carry while folding laundry, driving in silence, or lying awake at 2 a.m., wondering if it's ever going to change. The universe is not punishing you. It's not testing your worth. It's simply reflecting the frequency you hold the longest. And that truth can sting, or it can set you free. Because the field doesn't favor the loudest emotion, it responds to the most consistent one. So even if you spend 20 minutes a day in high-vibe affirmations, but spend the rest of the day humming with stress, doubt, or guilt, guess which frequency the mirror reflects? Not because you're wrong, not because you're broken, but because coherence requires clarity. And most of us are still projecting mixed signals, wanting one thing, but feeling another. Here's the twist. It's not about becoming more. It's about becoming clear. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, you can't create a new reality with the same old personality. And that old personality? It's not your identity. It's your emotionally conditioned frequency. So the work is not about doing more. It's about unlearning the habits of emotion that keep pulling you back into the old signal. It's about recognizing when your nervous system defaults to fear, scarcity, or self-protection and gently choosing a new pattern. Take a moment. Ask yourself, what vibration do I rehearse the most without realizing it? Is it impatience? Is it loneliness? Is it tension in the body that you've called normal? You don't need to fix these feelings. You simply need to become aware of them. Because the moment you observe a frequency without judgment, you create space to choose again. So no, the universe isn't ignoring you. It's responding with perfect precision to the signal you stabilize in. And that's empowering. Because it means your power is not in controlling outcomes, it's in mastering presence. Imagine the quantum field like a lake. When your vibration is calm and steady, the reflection is clear. But when it's turbulent with fear or doubt, the image becomes distorted. Clarity doesn't come from effort. It comes from stillness. You don't need more crystals, mantras, or moon rituals to unlock your desires. You need to anchor into the energy of who you're becoming consistently. Not for perfection, but for coherence. So if it feels like your reality hasn't caught up yet, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what vibration have I been loyal to, without realizing? And then gently shift. Let go of proving, chasing, over-efforting, because the field isn't moved by force, it's moved by frequency integrity. What do you think? Have you felt that gap between what you desire and what you repeatedly broadcast? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your reflection. And stay close, because in the final part of this journey, we'll explore a truth often overlooked. You don't need to be perfect, you only need to stabilize in the new signal long enough for it to become your new baseline. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. And that's where the shift becomes reality. What if the breakthrough you're waiting for doesn't come with fireworks but with quiet steadiness? The truth is, the loop ends the moment you stop radiating the old frequency. Not when your bank account changes, not when someone validates your worth, but when you decide deep in your body, not just your mind, this is who I am now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to maintain a constant high vibration or never feel doubt again. You just need to become stable in your new signal long enough for the universe to respond in kind. Think of it like tuning a radio. At first, the signal is scratchy. You catch glimpses of the music, then lose it. But if you keep gently adjusting, eventually, the static clears. The music flows. And it was always there, just waiting for you to hold the frequency. That's what this journey is about. Not pushing, not performing, but holding steady. Because the quantum field doesn't reward your effort. It reflects your energetic consistency. It mirrors the signal you broadcast most often, not most intensely. So here's the real question, the one only you can answer. Today, will I choose to feel like someone who has already shifted even if the outside world hasn't caught up yet? Will you breathe like that person? Walk like that person? Rest like that person? It might feel strange at first. Your nervous system might reach for the old panic, the old doubt, the old urgency. That's okay. That's conditioning. But each time you notice choose again, you're reinforcing the new timeline. And no, you won't do it perfectly. But perfection isn't required. Presence is. One study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that individuals who practiced emotional regulation through breath and intention for just 10 minutes a day showed measurable changes in brain coherence and reduced stress markers after only 2 weeks. Not through external results, through internal repetition. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need to hold the next step. So here's a simple but powerful action. In the comments, write this: I am the new frequency. Let it be your declaration. Not to impress others, but to anchor your own field. Say it like a vow. Say it even if your hands shake. Especially then. Because the universe isn't watching for proof of worthiness. It's listening for energetic conviction. What about you? What new signal are you choosing to stabilize in today? What emotion feels like your future self, even if your present doesn't match yet? I'd love to know. Drop it below. And if this journey has opened something inside you, if it helped you see your power differently, consider subscribing. Not because you need more content, but because you deserve more reminders of who you're becoming. Let's summarize what you now carry. The universe does not punish, it reflects. You manifest not from effort, but from coherence. The shift begins the moment you stop chasing and start becoming. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to hold your new frequency consistently enough for the field to catch it. And if you remember nothing else from this entire message, remember this: you are not waiting on the universe. The universe is responding to you always. The only question is, what signal will you choose to become today?